Welcome, fellow adventurers, to a place where nature's grandeur meets the warmth of small town charm. Today, we're embarking on a journey into Skagway, Alaska, and I do these videos because I want to show you what investing has allowed me the freedom to work and live where I want. In this adventure, we're taking an Alaska cruise to our first port town of Skagway, Alaska, and we'll start off with a delicious cup of coffee, eat some donuts at their famous donut house, and then embark on an adventure down the Chilkat River, where eagles reign supreme and nature wanders around us. Keep your eyes wide open, you don't want to miss a second of this breathtaking experience. So join me as we explore Skagway, Alaska, a place where every turn reveals a new spectacle, and every experience is a treasure. Let's dive into this unforgettable experience together. The first place we stopped by is the Glacial Coffee House. Then we had a pumpkin spice latte. It was pretty good. Best part about this was that we got to get some Wi-Fi because we've been away from our computer for a while, and I was able to get some work done, do some last minute things that I needed to do before we got the day started, and was gonna have zero service. And investing in real estate has allowed me to live this kind of life. So if you're interested in investing in real estate, make sure you go to the link in the description below, sign up for a free strategy call with me. I hope point you in the right direction when it comes to real estate investing. Like I said, we first went to the Klondike Doughboy, and oh my gosh, as we were walking by, these donuts that they had were like bigger than my head, and it's just your basic American fried food. Huge donut that's flat with no hole in the middle. It reminded me of a malasada, which is a Hawaiian Portuguese donut, except the donut is circular, whereas this one is completely flat, and it was huge, the size of my head. As soon as you bite into it, it's crispy on the outside, soft on the inside, sugary goodness. It was pretty good. Definitely not okay for my diet, so I would say if you're on a diet, definitely pass by that. But we did need to kill some time before our tour, which started at about 12 o'clock. So we killed some time by going to the coffee house, eating some donuts, and then walking through the actual town itself. Skagway is known for its gold rush history, and when you walk through this town, all it is a bunch of really old shops in this small town charm. And it just looks like you walked into Bob's Burgers or The Great North, one of those TV shows. I can't even have any words to explain it, but as you walk through the town, you'll see the Klondike Gold Rush National Historic Center, and just a bunch of little shops that you can go shop for some souvenirs and get something to eat. The coolest thing about this town is that with all these little buildings, behind it is just majestic mountains. The views were insane everywhere. And this town didn't take like more than 5 minutes to walk. It's super, super small. There's not much to do. There aren't that many people that live there either, but apparently it's really expensive. There's only one road that leads into that town, but really most people access it by boat, which is exactly where we came in from on the cruise ship. So the next stop is going to the Chilkat River, where we caught a ferry to this place called Haines. And then from Haines, we caught a 1-hour bus ride to the inlet of the river, where we were gonna get dropped off on a raft and literally just float down the river while we see eagles and salmons, and it was just a crazy sight to see. As we walked to the ferry, I love just seeing this little harbor town where everyone has a boat. The water is like bluer than blue. It's a different kind of blue than Hawaii. It's like a turquoise, which looks really cool from the glacial water. And I just love seeing such a boat town. We get on this ferry, sit front row, because this ferry had amazing views. As you were on the water, you could see the mountains, you could even see some whales. So it was really cool to get to look at those views. Marcus took a nap, but I wish that I took a nap because it was a 45-minute plus an hour till we actually got to the spot. So I could have used a nap there. We just got to learn a lot about the area on the ferry. The tour guide gave us a bunch of different information about the place that we came from, plus where we were going in Haines, which is an even smaller town with less than 100 people that actually live there year round. Just crazy to just think about. So from Haines, planes. These literal kids picked us up from the ferry, took us into a school bus, and we rode all the way to the river on crazy off-roads. This was like a complete adventure in itself, just off-roading on these roads. These kids that were taking us out on these tours told us that they stay there for the whole summer, and they all just live at a junkyard. There's like over 30 of them, and they just live there. There's one bathroom that they all share, and it's just like a whole camping experience while they're out there having fun and taking people out for adventures every day. After we get dropped off, we still have to do a little hike to the spot itself. And they gave us these Alaska boots, which I've worn before on another Alaska trip, because the water's super cold and you do not want to get your feet wet. On top of that, you have to wear a life jacket just in case you end up falling into the water. You at least have some floating protection on you. So when we get there, it was crazy because typically we can just go directly into the raft, but there was this little section where they had to maneuver this like crossing and literally just attach a rope to the raft and make us go all the way across. The water was rushing too crazy there for us to walk through it. So they maneuvered this thing where they transferred us across this little crossing. Then we were able to walk directly on the silt. Man, I can't even explain like how it felt to walk on this. It wasn't like walking on dirt. It wasn't like walking on sand. It's called silt, but it was just like this glaciery, rocky mud, and it looked really cool. The rocks were insane. There were so many different colors, and if you haven't been here before, I highly recommend to go because it is just a crazy sight to see. This is me living my best life. I love going on adventures like this, being in the best mood ever, and it's a confirmation of why I invest in real estate today, is because I get to do cool stuff like this without ever having to worry about money or asking a boss to go on this vacation. So after we walked, we were finally able to get into the river in our raft, and it was such a cool experience. The guide was pretty much just pushing us with his paddles. It wasn't very deep. The water at most was 12 inches. So this is very shallow water that you're just using the currents to push around, use the paddles to put into the silt so that you can go in different directions. And you really have to watch where you're going because there are sometimes rocks super high up and you could really puncture the bottom of your raft. So it was such a cool thing to see how these guides were navigating through this glacial silt and all this rockiness. The coolest part about this adventure was that as you look around, there are 360 views of mountains, trees, water, silt, and it was just completely quiet. You could see eagles. We even saw a ton of baby eagles, which are actually gray if you didn't know that. They don't turn brown until they're actually older. We even got to see an eagle eating a salmon in the river, which was insane. Like, you just cannot see this in regular life. Alaska has such a diverse amount of wildlife, and I highly recommend if you haven't been there yet. I loved being on this float, and this was my favorite part about the Alaska cruise, was getting out. And this was the best port to go to because they gave you like a long portion of time to go and explore, whereas other places they didn't really give you as much. So if you're ever on an Alaska cruise, try to go on a cruise that allows you to stay at the ports a little bit longer. That way you can actually have some kind of fun adventure. I would hate to go to Skagway and only get to walk through the small town. I definitely would want to go on an adventure, and I'm really glad that we got to go on this one. Overall, super an amazing experience and my favorite part of my total Alaska cruise. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you guys liked that. It's just a fun video for today. See you on the next video. Shoots.